Welcome back to the best book ever. Last week, we saw how close Mary and Elizabeth were as we learnt about the birth of John. This week, we're going to see what happened when Joseph found out about the baby. Let's begin by turning to Matthew chapter 1, verses 18 to 25. This is how the birth of Jesus, the Messiah, came about. His mother was pledged to be married to Joseph, but before they came together, she was found to be pregnant through the Holy Spirit. Because Joseph, her husband, was faithful to the law and yet did not want to expose her to public disgrace, he had in mind to divorce her quietly. But after he had considered this, an angel of the Lord appeared to him in a dream and said, "Joseph, son of David, do not be afraid to take Mary home as your wife, because what is conceived in her is from the Holy Spirit. She will give birth to a son, and you are to give him the name Jesus, because he will save his people from their sins." All this took place to fulfill what the Lord had said through the prophet. The virgin will conceive and give birth to a son, and they will call him Emmanuel, which means God with us. When Joseph woke up, he did what the angel of the Lord had commanded him and took Mary home as his wife. But he did not consummate their marriage until she gave birth to a son, and he gave him the name Jesus. Did you know that Jewish weddings happen in 2 stages that could be separated by weeks or even months? The first stage is a bit like getting engaged, only it's a legal contract where the couple are treated as if they are properly married, but are not allowed to act like it by living together or having children. The second stage completes the marriage contract. It includes a big party, and after this, the couple are allowed to live together, have children, be a proper family. This is why some translations state Mary and Joseph were already married, while others state they were only engaged or betrothed. They had completed the first stage of getting married and were waiting for the second. Anyone who saw Mary was pregnant would assume it was Joseph's and would strongly disapprove of the fact they could not wait a little longer until they'd completed the second stage of marriage. This would ruin Joseph's reputation as a godly man and could make it challenging for him to find work. It's understandable that he would want to clear his name by undoing the first stage of marriage by divorcing Mary. Interestingly, he could have chosen to make a public example of Mary, even going so far as to have her and the unborn child stoned to death. Instead, he planned to separate from her as quietly as possible. He still loved Mary and knew her to be a godly woman. He could not understand what had happened or what she told him about this being the Son of God. So he took the least bad option he could see. Fortunately, Joseph, like his namesake with the colourful coat, believed in dreams and that God used them to communicate with people. When the angel spoke to him in a dream, confirming what Mary had said, Joseph obeyed despite the social consequences. His priority was to obey God in all things. We could do to learn from this and to follow his example. One final controversial point on this extract, especially if you're a Catholic. Look at verse 25. Mary remained a virgin until Jesus was born, but not after. Jesus had younger brothers and sisters. They're mentioned elsewhere in the Bible. This verse and our next extract tell me that the wedding stage 2 was completed in Bethlehem after Jesus was born. Let's turn to Luke chapter 2, verses 1 to 5, and find out what else happened before the birth of Jesus. In those days, Caesar Augustus issued a decree that a census should be taken of the entire Roman world. This was the first census that took place while Quirinius was governor of Syria, and everyone went to their own town to register. So Joseph went up from the town of Nazareth in Galilee to Judea, to Bethlehem, the town of David, because he belonged to the house and line of David. He went there to register with Mary, who was pledged to be married to him and was expecting a child. Everyone went to his own town. Some say it's where Joseph was born and where he grew up. He was simply taking his bride home to visit his family and obey the census at the same time. Many people think this refers to people going to their ancestral homes. In this case, Bethlehem is where King David came from, and both Mary and Joseph were descendants of King David, so Bethlehem was their ancestral hometown. It could also refer to his family's allotted portion of land, their eternal inheritance, as divided by Moses and Joshua in Judges chapter 14, and guaranteed to be returned to his family line every 50 years in Leviticus 25 verse 10. This explanation would link both of the other explanations into something even more impressive. But why is this so important? Jews were exempt from military service, the normal reason for holding a census, but they were not exempt from paying tax. In order to register, Rome required the people to return and register in their hometown, the town they had a permanent dwelling in. As the land was returned to its original owners every 50 years, all of Israel had to return to its allotted or allocated inheritance. I've heard people ask why Mary had to travel so close to giving birth. She had to go too because she was over the age of 12 and had to register to pay poll tax. Joseph couldn't register on her behalf, nor could she register in Nazareth, as she was not descended from Naphtali, and her permanent inheritance was not there. God used a greedy Roman who didn't care if the timing was bad to guarantee Jesus was born exactly where he had said he would be. But more on that next week. Please click the link at the end of this clip to listen to the companion clips to this series, remembering to like, comment, subscribe and share this clip so that others can learn as you have. I'll see you next week. God bless you. Bye.